The youngest repeat offender in history is 8 years old. Let that sink in. An 8-year-old boy from a remote village in India with a psychological profile that left veteran detectives trembling. We often say that children are pure, the embodiment of innocence. But what happens when you look into the eyes of a child and see nothing but pure, unadulterated darkness? The year was 2007. The rural police station of Bhagwanpur, Bihar, was completely surrounded by an angry mob. Inside the station, a seasoned investigating officer walked into the interrogation room, expecting to find a hardened criminal. Instead, he found a tiny boy. Confused, the officer asked, "What is your name?" The boy looked up. "Amarjeet Sada." The officer leaned in, his voice shaking. "Did you really do this? Are you responsible?" Amarjeet looked the officer dead in the eyes, a blank expression on his face, and replied, "Give me some biscuits first, then I'll tell you everything." After finishing the packet of biscuits and drinking a glass of water, the 8-year-old boy began to speak, and with a chilling smile on his face, he detailed his dark incidents one by one. The story he told made the detectives run cold. Born in 1998 in the impoverished village of Musahari, Amarjeet was the son of struggling day laborers. Left mostly to his own devices, he was a quiet, isolated child. He didn't play with other kids. He spent his days wandering aimlessly, climbing trees, and sitting silently by the village pond. His parents thought he was just an introvert. They had no idea a storm was brewing inside him. The year was 2006. Amarjeet was just 8 years old. One afternoon, his mother and aunt went to the local market, leaving Amarjeet in charge of his 6-year-old cousin. Suddenly, something dark snapped inside him. He approached his little cousin and pinched her violently. The little girl cried out in agonizing pain, and as she cried, Amarjeet smiled. He felt an overwhelming rush of euphoria. Psychologists later identified this as deep behavioral disorder, getting a high from inflicting extreme physical distress. Craving more of that feeling, Amarjeet began striking the crying child. The louder she screamed, the more thrilled he became. Eventually, his small hands wrapped tightly around the 6-year-old. He ensured she would never wake up again. Acting with cold, calculated precision, the 8-year-old picked up his cousin, carried her into the woods behind his house, caused fatal harm, and hid her beneath the dirt and leaves. When his mother returned, Amarjeet calmly confessed to exactly what he had done. But this is where the story takes a deeply disturbing cultural turn. In some extremely impoverished pockets of rural India, male heirs are fiercely protected, while female children are often viewed as a financial burden. To protect their precious son, the family covered up the tragedy. They told no one, and by doing so, they unleashed a dangerous force into their own home. Winter 2006. Once someone crosses that ultimate line, the urge to repeat the act becomes an uncontrollable addiction. Amarjeet knew that targeting a neighbor's child would draw unwanted attention, so he looked closer to home. One afternoon, he noticed his own baby sister sleeping peacefully in her cot. Amarjeet lifted his flesh and blood, carried her to the very same woods, and permanently ended her journey. He then brought her back and placed her in the bed. When his mother tried to wake the baby to feed her, she found her infant daughter unresponsive. Once again, looking at the horrifying reality of what her son had done, the parents chose silence. They protected their son. And so, the world's youngest offender continued to roam free. But his dark urges were far from over. Fast forward to 2007. A woman named Chunchun Devi left her 6-month-old baby, Khushbu, sleeping on the veranda of the local primary school while she ran an errand. When she returned just 10 minutes later, the baby was gone. Panic erupted. A child had vanished in broad daylight. Amidst the chaos, a guilt-ridden female relative of Amarjeet approached the desperate mother and whispered, "I know who you need to ask, but we have to go to the police." When the police arrived to question the suspect, they found Amarjeet playing in a field behind the school. At first, they thought it was a joke. How could a tiny boy be responsible? But the illusion shattered when Amarjeet, giggling uncontrollably, looked at the cops and confessed. "I took her," he smiled. "I took her to the bushes. I tried to silence her, but she wouldn't cry. I wanted her to cry, so I took extreme measures and buried her." He led the horrified detectives straight to the 6-month-old's hidden spot. It was only then that he cheerfully admitted to his first two tragedies as well. The media exploded. Amarjeet Sada became a terrifying global sensation overnight. But as investigators dug deeper, a chilling alternative theory began to emerge, a theory that changes everything. Did an 8-year-old really have the psychological complexity to carry out these acts and hide the evidence out of sight? Why was he smiling and confessing so easily? Locals noted that Amarjeet was a slow child, often manipulated easily. Notice a horrific pattern here. All 3 victims were female infants. In a region where female abandonment and elimination was a grim reality due to dowry burdens, some profilers asked a terrifying question. Did the family orchestrate these losses themselves? Did they use their slow-witted 8-year-old son as a scapegoat, knowing the law couldn't touch him? We may never know the truth, but what happened next is an absolute fact. Under Indian law, a minor cannot be tried or sentenced as an adult, no matter how severe the incident. Amarjeet was sent to a juvenile psychiatric facility. Doctors diagnosed him with severe conduct disorder, a psychological condition where the subject completely lacks empathy and derives pleasure from inflicting distress. By law, the absolute maximum sentence a juvenile can serve in India is 3 years in a reform home. Once they turn 18, they must be released back into society with a completely clean record and a new, protected identity. In 2016, upon turning 18, the world's youngest offender was quietly released. Today, Amarjeet Sada is around 26 years old. He has a new name, a new identity. He could be living anywhere. He could be the delivery driver who dropped off your food last night. He could be the new security guard in your apartment building. He could be standing right next to you on a crowded train. A diagnosed sadist who was involved in 3 tragic losses is walking among us right now. If this case sent shivers down your spine, hit the like button and subscribe for more terrifying true stories. Stay safe out there and always watch who you let into your home. Until next time.